What's up, good people? Welcome to TajeAstrology. It's time for a little astrology gossip. Let's take a look at these celebrities' astrological placements to see what they're really like behind closed doors, and take a look at the energy that's around them. Yeah, we gonna be all up in their business, but keep in mind that all readings are for entertainment purposes only. So you ready? Let's go. All right. What's up? What's up? My love Zodies. Y'all already know what time it is. My name is Tom, your favorite astrologer. And today we're going to be looking at Mr. E.J. Johnson. All right, y'all know that he's been trending, right? Y'all know that he's the son of Magic Johnson. Now we all know who Magic Johnson is. He was big back in the day, and his son EJ is currently trending in the news, right? And one of the reasons why he's trending in the news, he did an interview, and I can't remember the name of the content creator that did the interview. But he did an interview with a content creator, and in it, he said that he only dates straight men, right? I think the interview was maybe like about an hour long or so. And y'all know that as soon as he said that, everyone in social media has gone into like a frenzy, right? So, of course, I had to take a look at his chart. One, because he's trending. And two, I wanted to see what his chart was made of. So let's take a look at Mr. E.J. Johnson. Now, he's born June 4th, 1992, the same year as my youngest son, right? So to me, he's a baby. He's still a baby. I know he's not a baby, but to me, he's very young. Born in Beverly Hills. All right. Now, to be real honest, when I took a look at his chart, which you will see here in the visual, Gemini, he has the Sun, Venus, and Mercury in Gemini. And, with this placement, I didn't really have to go any further. Now, does that mean anyone that has these placements are in the lifestyle or part of the rainbow community? No. But it's a very good indication that someone may be in the rainbow community, right? And, there's other indication, but we'll just start there. Now, Gemini in and of itself is duality, right? This is literally two people. Now, Geminis do get an interesting rap, a bad rap sometimes, because Geminis are often called like two-faced, or they could be called double-tongued, or just flat out liars, right? And really, Geminis tend to see both sides of the coin, right? One of the twins may see this, the other twin might see that, but they're still just one person. So they see the duality of most situations. And so that's why a lot of times they are known as liars. Now, sometimes they are just liars. I mean, it is what it is, because they are ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is communication. But, not all Geminis are liars. Not all Geminis are bad. There are some good Geminis out there, regardless of what some people may think. But I think that in EJ's case, with these placements, this is an indication of duality of sexuality, right? Because Venus is right there. There's a really, really tight conjunction with his sun, which is his identity, who he is, with Venus is right there. Like, the sun is 14 degrees, Venus is 11 degrees. It's a very, very tight conjunction. Venus is sensuality. It's also, it could be a form of sexuality, right? And so with that sun or Venus being that close to the sun, his identity is uh, beauty, is sensuality. Is Venus is the symbol of the woman, right? And so his his identity, let's just say he's really tapped into his feminine energy with that Venus being that close to the sun in the sign of Gemini, right? Now, also there's Mercury right there, okay? And Mercury is ruled by Gemini. And so what his identity, he doesn't, I think he came out when he was like 17, I think I read. And so his identity is really tied into what he is, right? Which is a gay man, or a man within the rainbow community, right? And so with that Mercury there, he feels really powerful when he talks about who he is, what he is, right? And with that conjunction, that Sun, Venus, Mercury conjunction in the sign of Gemini, it, he feels beautiful. He feels empowered to speak his truth, right? He is unapologetically who he is, and that placement right there, because Gemini doesn't have a problem speaking with that sun there. He doesn't mind speaking on himself, and with Venus there, he feels that he's very beautiful, that he likes the fashion, that he likes all of that. So the first placement is very, very telling. So I'm not really surprised by that. Now, let's move to his Leo house. All right. He has the moon in Chiron, or the moon and Chiron in his Leo house, right? And the moon and Chiron is in a very close conjunction. That's a combined, intense, collective energy. And what this tells me is that he does have wounds around his feelings being hurt, probably at a very young age, right? And with this placement, he may not have gotten the admiration or attention that he may have felt that he wanted and needed, right? He may have felt that he didn't get the affection that he needed. Now, that's not saying that he didn't get it, but with Leo moon, Leo needs admiration, it needs attention, it needs, I don't know if he has other siblings. In his Cancer house, they are usually, now I don't have his time, so I don't know what his actual fourth house placements are. So I'm not saying that he didn't get this, but with the Leo moon, they need a lot of attention. And he, growing up, may not have felt that. And that may have created a wound with that Chiron there, saying, he could have been, a little boy saying, hey, I need this, I need that. And he may have even been getting it, but it may not have been enough, because when Chiron is there, it does create a wound of some sort. Now let's move on to, he has Mars in Aries, right? And it is in conjunction with Pluto in Scorpio. Now I think that this is a very, very interesting placement. And I think that this is where the comment that he made that he only dates straight men came from, right? And looking at this placement, these aspects, see, he did not mean that okay. When he said he only dates straight men, I don't believe that he meant literally heterosexual men, right? I believe that he meant men that present as straight, right? So what this combination of aspects is telling me is that he doesn't like, or he's not attracted to quote unquote gay boys that you can clearly tell are gay. See, within the gay community, we have a certain lingo sometimes that just does not it does just not translate appropriately outside of the rainbow community. Right? So I might have a lady that called me daddy. Now, am I a man? Absolutely not. Am I a daddy? Absolutely not. But within the community, everybody knows what that would mean, right? And so there's a lingo that, again, outside of the rainbow community, makes no sense to the straight community. And I think that this is what we have right now. Right. Now we all know that straight men are just that straight. If you have a straight man who has no inkling, no indication of wanting to be with another male or man, which I do believe we have absolutely positively straight people. And I do believe that a mass majority of people have bisexual tendencies, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about straight men in this particular case. And they're not going to be um, moved or attracted to a man regardless of how he presents, or they're at least not going to pursue further with it. That is what I mean. Words and definitions have meaning, right? But within the community, there is a hierarchy. And the men that do not present as gay, but they are gay, are called straight. And I know from the straight folks, they could be like, what the entire fuck? But it is what it is. But mind you, it's like every community has their own lingo. Now, with Mars in Aries, right, this is the epitome of masculinity, right? Um, it is the man's what is it called? The man's man, right? So this is the highest because Aries Aries is uh, pure masculine energy. Mars is pure masculine energy, and so with that placement of Mars in Aries, that is pure masculine entity, and it is touching that Gemini house, right? Um, Now the Mars in Aries is making an aspect to the Pluto in Scorpio. All right, so this is like sexuality, it's hidden sexual desires, and it's also transformative sex, right? So he may be attracted to men who hide their sexuality, right? It is, there are some, and I'm not going to say just men because there are some women too who likes dating women or people who have never tiptoed or stuck a toe into the other side, right? But anyone who dips a toe into the other side, they have those, what I mentioned earlier, those bisexual tendencies, because there are people, men and women, that would never do that, right? And so I do think that with that aspect to that Pluto and Scorpio, that is a theme for him, right? That he's attracted to men who hide their sexuality, right? Because there are gay men who present straight, meaning that if you look at them, you would never be able to tell that they were gay. They don't do any outwardly gay movements or activities or actions or whatever, right? But they state that they're gay, right? So if you ask them, they're not going to wear rainbow shit or flaunt that they're gay outwardly. But if you ask them, or maybe if you delve into their life, you will be able to tell they don't hide it, but they don't flaunt it, right? So there are those men that are out there. But I kind of believe that with this Mars in Aries, making that aspect to that Pluto in Scorpio, because Scorpio is sex as well, Pluto is sex as well. Each of these, like Mars rules Aries, Pluto rules Scorpio. And Scorpio also is ruled by uh, what that was. So there is a lot of um, energy. Is kind of like receptive energy, right? And so when you have this placement of Pluto and Scorpio, Mars and Aries, again, that's a lot of receptive energy. That's a lot of masculine energy. That is sexuality. It's hidden. It's all of that, right? So yeah, he might be uh, attracted to those that are not open about their sexuality. And this is also very aggressive sex. I ain't gonna get into that, but yeah, this placement, the Mars and Aries, Pluto, and Scorpio, that is a lot of aggressive sex. But I digress. We're not even gonna get into all of that, right? All right, so moving up to the top of his chart, we have Neptune and Uranus in his Capricorn house. And what I find funny about this placement is that it's also touching that Gemini house, right? In Venus and Mercury. So it everything goes back and touches who he is, that sun house, right? And this Neptune and Uranus in his Capricorn house, it touches that house as well. And Neptune and Uranus in Capricorn, this is like a solid mindset that may be creative but also delusional with that Neptune. And this is it's an unusual way of thinking and talking with that Uranus, right? Uh, Both of these are also in retrograde, which tells me that uh, this is internal reflection and mindset and way of thinking, right? And so, this placement, he he might actually believe that the men that are presenting straight are actually straight. I mean, I don't know, or maybe that thought process is attractive to him, like I said earlier, right? With that Uranus up there and it's touching his Mercury, that's also saying things in the public eye. It's at the top of his chart. Uh, that's controversial and weird because we know that Uranus is the weirdo of the zodiac. But like I always say, that weird doesn't necessarily mean bad. It just means different, right? So with this Neptune Uranus, uh, it's a delusional way of seeing, like self opposed. It's like how he sees himself or how the world may see himself, especially since it is happening in the house of Capricorn. So yeah, I mean, he has a very interesting chart. And like I said, he is still young-ish, right? He's about to be what, 31 this June. Um, I believe that a lot will shift for EJ when he sees his next Saturn return. Right, I do believe that right now he's found himself, or he's figuring out a way to heal that moon in Chiron, right? And I think basically it's like, if y'all don't see how amazing he is, he will tell y'all, say that y'all will know. And I believe that's part of his like internal therapy. Now he also has a south node at 0 degrees Cancer. And he's going to have to learn how not to be governed by his emotions and not to allow what people say about him dictate his moves, and to kind of just lean more into that north node of 0 degrees Capricorn, which is a more mature and grounded energy, right? But I think that he's definitely not the uh, the young EJ, the youth EJ when he came out. I do believe that with this placement, he was probably a little bit more sensitive. Um, he probably does have what do you call that? He's not as strong as he could be, but I do believe that he's working on that. I know that he was kind of heavy set earlier on when he was younger. Looks like he has lost an amazing amount of weight. He is focusing on himself and being the most beautiful part of himself. And I think that now that he has reached in his mind where he wants to be aesthetically, because that Venus is strong there. Like if he didn't, like before, I don't believe that he felt beautiful or attractive. And I think that now he has reached a place where he does. And so now he can present in the world confidently how he feels on the inside outwardly. And I think that that's good for young people to reach that that place, right? He is a very androgynous individual, right? And so, really, I think that he's an attractive young man, and he is an attractive, beautifully presenting, feminine aspect of himself, right? And I think that's exactly what he wants. And I wish him nothing but success in his endeavors. I do uh, hope that he gets to a place where he doesn't have to compare himself to women. And I think that once he gets to that place, then he will officially get to a place where he feels wonderful about himself. I think he feels good about himself, but he's not in competition with anybody but himself. And I think he's getting to that part. And I think that the more and more he grows, he will become even more comfortable with himself and who he has become and all of that good stuff. So I wish him well um, for his future movements and endeavors. All right. All right. Beautiful love, Zodies. That's all I got now. That's all I have got. So, but I want you all to comment below. Let me know what you think about E.J. Johnson. What you think about this reading? What you think about that interview? The interview that popped all of this off? Because he has been in he's been in the limelight his whole life. This is not the first time he's been in the news, but this is, from what I know, the first time that he has been trending for saying controversial stuff. And really, I don't believe that this is going to be all, especially with that aspect to Uranus, that Mercury aspect to Uranus. That is unorthodox, off the wall, out the box thinking and speaking. So I don't believe that this is going to be the only time that he's trending in the news for saying stuff. And that might be where he gets his fire from, continuously saying things that people are going to be shocked and maybe even appalled by with that placement. So I would imagine it's going to continue to keep him in the limelight, keep him popping. But you all let me know what you think. And don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you were interested in a reading, I do readings. I do the natal readings. I do all of that, love readings, all of that. Hit me up at TajeAstrology.com if you want to support. I just dropped the what is that little QR code So if you want to support, I appreciate that as well. All right. Until then, I will see you all in the next video. Salute. Salute.